So now that we can go to the meals screen, it's of course time to populate it with the actual data for the selected meal. And therefore here in select category, we should make sure that we load the meals that belong to the selected category. For this, as a first step, we should accept a second parameter here, which is the category that was selected, because without this information, it will be quite difficult to find the meals that belong to a certain category. So therefore here, we should make sure that we actually import this category model from the category Dart file in the models folder, and we accept this parameter. And then here in select category, we should reach out to all our dummy meals and use the built-in where method, which is supported on all lists in Dart, to filter this dummy meals list. Because where essentially returns a new iterable, but that, as you learned, basically is a list that only contains the items that match a certain condition. So to where you pass a function which will be executed automatically by Dart on every item in the list on which where is called, so on dummy meals. So here we get the individual meal items, because this function will be executed once per meal in that dummy meals list. And we should return true if we want to keep that meal, or false if we don't want to keep it in that newly created list that will be returned by where. Now, to define a fitting condition here, let's take a brief look at the meals again. And here it's important to note that every meal has a categories property, which is a list of strings, and in the end it's a list of category IDs. So the categories have IDs like C4, C5, and so on, and in categories in our meals, we have those IDs. And every meals has different category IDs to which it is mapped. So therefore here in categories screen, where I want to filter my meals, I can take a look at my meal categories and check whether it contains, which is another built-in method available on lists, to check whether a list contains a certain value. And here I'll check whether meal categories contains the category ID of the category that was selected here. And that will return true if this meal for which this function is currently executed does include that category ID, and false otherwise. And therefore the list returned by where will only include meals that do have this category ID added to them. So here I'll then call toList to convert this iterable returned by where to a real list and store it in a variable filtered meals, or however you want to call it. And in the end, it's now this filtered meals list that's passed as a value to the meals parameter on the meals screen. And the title, of course, can now also be set dynamically. And it should be set to the category title, so we can use this category parameter down here to access category.title. And with that, we should be able to load the actual category and meals data for the category that was selected. Of course, now we just must make sure that this category parameter is also provided when select category is executed. So therefore down here, where we're calling select category, besides passing in the context, we now also must pass in the category, but thankfully this category is available here. In this loop here, it's available there, so therefore we can set or pass this category here as a value to select category. If you now save this and force a reload, if you click a category, you can see the title indeed was used here, and even though it's hard to see, the meals here are now also filtered, and we don't have all the meals being output here. And different categories show different titles and a different list of meals. And of course, with that, it's now also finally time to fix the way these meals are displayed here and make sure that they are actually displayed how they should be displayed.